All right, we are live. Thank you for waiting for us. We are back live with today's show. We're going to talk about why you feel trapped in your job and what actually gets you out. All right, that's what the show is about today. I'm very excited. I put together some notes, and I want to say every time I open up, I want to remind people what we're doing here. If you've ever felt stuck in your job, short on runway, or behind compared to everyone else, this is where you belong, because this show is about thinking clearly, choosing smarter business models, and building something that can make real profit fast without going into debt. And I've been exactly where you are, and I've built my way out with this simple business. And that's why I'm here, because my goal is to help you do the same thing. So let's go ahead and dive in. We have John here. Thanks, John. Not me, but another loyal listener named John. And today I want to start with what I believe to be true. And more specifically, I believe that most people who feel stuck in their job don't actually want to be entrepreneurs. I think that they just want relief, and they want more money. They want more time, more control, and they want less stress. Most people don't wake up dreaming of running a business. They wake up wanting more peace of mind. And entrepreneurship is just one possible vehicle to get those things. My belief is sort of shaped through looking through three different lenses, if you will. The first lens, I see revealed behavior, what people actually do. And I think that if most frustrated employees truly wanted to be entrepreneurs, we would expect to see mass numbers of people consistently building businesses on nights and weekends, learning sales, marketing, operations, delaying gratification for years, willing to accept uncertainty really for a long time, a high amount of it. But in reality, people are complaining about their jobs. They scroll on TikTok to look for side hustles. Maybe they try something for a few weeks, and then they stop when it gets uncomfortable or slow. And what that suggests is that they don't actually want the lifestyle of entrepreneurship. They want the outcome that entrepreneurship promises. If people truly wanted to be entrepreneurs, their actions would look very different. Most people aren't afraid of the work, but they are resistant to long-term uncertainty. And then there's this second lens where I see what they say that they want, but they don't say, I can't wait to build systems. I'm dying to manage employees. I'm excited to handle taxes and hiring and operations. They say things like, I just want more freedom. I just want to spend time with my family. I'm tired of my boss. I want to feel in control of my life. I want to stop stressing about money. Those are lifestyle desires, not entrepreneurial desires. So the evidence is in their language. And if you ask most people what they want, they don't describe entrepreneurship. They describe freedom. And again, entrepreneurship is just one possible path to get there. And then there's this third lens that I see through, and it's more of the psychology of motivation. Most people are avoiding pain, not seeking risk. And entrepreneurship requires people to tolerate uncertainty, make decisions without guarantees, to deal with failure publicly, to be responsible for everything. And most importantly, it delays rewards. But that's not how most humans are wired by default. So from a psychological standpoint, it's unlikely that most frustrated employees genuinely want that life. I think what they really want is less stress, more control, more money, more flexibility. Again, these are outcomes, not identity. So the real question isn't, do you want to be an entrepreneur? It's, what's the smartest way for you to build the life that you want? Well, in order to answer that question, the topic of the show today revolves around the central idea of having a job versus building a business. And I think the main thing here is that a job pays you, but a business can outlive you. Got some smudge mark here. Should have been ready for that. A job pays you once, but a business can outlive you. Mod, let me know, does it look foggy here, or am I coming out okay? Does it look foggy, or am I coming out okay? Well, I never stopped I never thought about it like that. Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of profound, isn't it? A little foggy. All right. Well, maybe we can get something to clean this up. I'll grab it in a minute. But it is profound. And somebody in the comments just said, I never really thought about it like that, right? So a job pays you once, but a business can outlive you. What a job really means is that you sell your time, you get paid, and when you stop, the money stops. You typically don't own anything unless you're vesting or you're getting some stock options, right? But generally speaking, a paycheck is a transaction, not an asset. And what a business really means is these four things. It can be sold, it operates with systems, it can be scaled, and it can be passed down. So let's dive into each one of those for just a minute here. Number one, it can be sold. And the idea that a business can be sold is what most people miss here. If you build the right kind of business, one day someone else could buy it from you. That means your work today, that means that your work today could turn into a lump sum of money in the future. You don't sell jobs, you sell systems, customers, and brands. Your paycheck can't be sold. A well-built business can. And number two is systemization. And this is where freedom comes from. An asset isn't just something that makes you money. It's something that you can run with less of you, or run without you for that matter. And in contrast, a side hustle is you doing everything. A business process, people, repeatable systems. So when I say I run my cleaning business remotely, it's because it's systemized. And number three is scale. And this is where wealth starts. Because income is capped by your time, but an asset is capped by your imagination and your structure. With a job, you work harder, maybe get a raise. With a business, you can add more customers, more teams, more locations. With a job, you get paid for effort. With a business, you get paid for structure. And then number four is it can be passed down, which is legacy framing. Even if you don't care about legacy, this matters. Because if you build an asset, it can support your family beyond you. That's the difference between surviving and actually building something. Most people focus on what a side hustle can make them per month, like X amount of dollars per month, instead of what can I build that becomes an asset. They chase fast cash, easy money, low effort gigs. But those often become another job, another grind, and another thing that disappears when they stop. So if your side hustle can't be sold, systemized, or scaled, you didn't build an asset. You created another job. Some examples would be gig work, right? Random freelancing, certain creator side hustles, anything that pays you while you're doing it. But my point here is that making money is not the same as building wealth or freedom. So consider that the idea that some businesses are better asset builders than the others, right? Some businesses are better asset builders than others. Some are amazing for cash flow. Some are amazing for freedom, and some are amazing to sell. Part of what we're doing on the show is to help you choose a business that can actually become a real asset, not just another paycheck in disguise. A service business like remote house cleaning happens to check a lot of these boxes, but we'll get into the specifics of that in future episodes. For today, I have two simple but very powerful questions for you. Are you guys with me? Let me see in the comments. John, are you with me? Two simple questions, very powerful questions. Question number one, be honest. How many of you are currently focused on making extra money instead of building an asset? If you're focused on more making extra money than building an asset, drop money into the chat so I can see. Yes, sir. All right. If you're focused on making money and not building an asset, comment money just so I know in the chat. Question number two. How many of you actually want to build something that could one day run without you? If you want to build something like that, comment asset. I see John. John wants the money. Absolutely. But I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. Out of the people that are listening, if you want to build something that can one day run without you, drop asset into the chat. And before I get into the middle part of the show where I'm going to invite some guests up, I want to make sure that I make clear what the big takeaway for today is. A paycheck disappears when you stop working. A real business can outlive you. And if you want real freedom, your goal shouldn't just be income. It should be building an asset. All right. And in the show, like I said, we're going to help you design smarter escape plans that actually lead to that. And in the next episode, we're going to be talking about the real reason you haven't gotten your first customers yet if you went and try to start some sort of side hustle or a business. All right? I'm going to talk about why most beginners focus on the wrong things. But for now, I want to get into the chat. If anybody has any questions, John, you want money and assets. I like that. But let's now talk about having a guest up here. And in the meantime, any questions or any comments about what I just told you about assets versus money or paychecks? And you know what? Some business models can actually do both for you. Some can do both. But I think that when people are transitioning from whatever job that they have to the business, I think that money is going to be more of a short-term concern, and building a real asset is going to be a longer-term way of thinking. All right. Now let me see what I've got here in terms of having a guest up. I'm gonna read what normally this segment of the show is about, and in a minute, I'm going to bring up a real person onto the stage. Hopefully a minute or two. We'll see who's brave enough and wants to come up and talk about it. They're going to tell me what they're doing for work, what they're doing to build what they want their life to look like in 12 months from now. And I'm going to ask them a few structured questions about money, their runway, and their plan. And then I'm going to give them a clear, honest assessment in real time. Sometimes that might mean keep going. You're closer than you think. And sometimes it might mean pivot, maybe to a same skill, but a better idea or better business. And sometimes I'm going to tell you to scrap it if I just think it's really bad. My goal is not to be nice. My goal is to be useful. So if you're watching this, don't just judge, but learn. Because the questions I ask are the same questions you should be asking yourself if you're going through this. The show is about one thing: helping people move from stuck to clear, from dreaming to doing, from hustling to building something that actually works. All right. So with that, I'm going to invite up my first guest. If you want to come on the show, all you have to do is send me a message on Instagram, and the mod will drop you a link to come on up. Now, John, you've been here for most of the shows, but you haven't been up yet. Would you like to join us? You mentioned that you had some things on your mind that you were unclear about. If you'd like to join us, please come on up. I invite you now. And since you reported a little fog on the screen, I'm going to try to get that off. I think what happened to it is I got awfully close to it because I have a new setup. We have 6 people joining us. Anybody have any questions about anything that I just said or anything else about why you feel trapped in your job and what actually gets you out? Any questions? Anybody want to come up and have a discussion with me about their escape plan, about what they want to be true in the next 12 months, and if we can talk about it and plan it out together? Oh, you're at work, John. That's fine. We have 6 people live with us right now. I'm sure more people will be joining in. If you want to come up on the stage, please, if you could flash that, just go to Instagram and DM me. The mod will flash it right now, and you will get a link to join. I can't show it on the screen because of spammers, but this whole concept of building an asset versus just making money, when I first transitioned out. Remember, I had 2 jobs when I started this remote cleaning business. And one of the things that was a huge concern for me right away was just the bills that I had to pay. I was concerned about having enough cash to pay my bills, to not stress out my wife and other things like that, and to not, I guess, lose the lifestyle that we have. And luckily, things went pretty fast because I chose a really nice business model that was able to pay profit right away. I didn't have to sink money into inventory. I didn't have to wait for product development and manufacturing. I didn't have to warehouse something that I had to pay to pick, pack, and ship somewhere. I just picked a straight service business because it allowed me to simply offer a service for cash and then pretty much right away turn a profit. And that's rare. And that's rare. I know it is. But that's what the goal should be. The goal should be for everybody to turn a profit right away. And then you could focus on turning that profit or the money that you're living on into an asset later. But you can do both at the same time, right? I think the asset comes into play once you start figuring out your systems and you can start to automate and delegate things. That's when the idea of a side hustle or a business that you have that replaces your income becomes more of an asset. Any questions? Does anyone want to come up and talk about this? I know it looks a little foggy on the screen. Sorry about that. I'll fix that in a minute. We have 7 people live. Who would like to come up? Any questions? Any questions? We talked about the 4 things that are different about a business than a job, right? We talked about those things. I can recap it again for all the people that are new. But those 4 things are, the 4 things are, you could grow it, you could sell it, you have more control, and your income is not capped. So because of those 4 reasons, that's a great idea or a great 4 great reasons to make that change. But I'm curious. I'm curious of all the people that are listening right now. What is it that might be making you feel stuck? And how can we help you transition out to a side hustle or a business that can replace your income and give you more freedom, more money, and more control over your future? Something that you could pass down or something that you could sell. That's what we're talking about today. Go ahead and DM me on Instagram at John Margolitz, and you'll get a code so you can come up. We can't put it on the screen because of spammers, but that's what we're talking about today here live. And we're also talking about the fascination that most people that are unhappy or stuck at their jobs don't necessarily yearn to be entrepreneurs. There's a big difference. I wake up every day and I'm fired up about attacking the bottlenecks in my business, about hiring the best or better people, about figuring out how to make more money. How can we do more jobs and me work less? That's what I'm fascinated with. That's what gets me up in the morning. I feel the exact opposite with having a job. The exact opposite. Even if I had liked my jobs, I still thought to myself, I'm building this thing for someone else. I don't have as much control. I can't pass this down. And so for those reasons, I'm fascinated with being an entrepreneur. But for some of you, you might want out of your job and you might want some of the promises of entrepreneurship, but you don't actually want to become an entrepreneur. And if that's you, then I think selling a simple service type of business is the best fit. And why do I think it's the best fit? Because all you have to do is deliver on an expectation or a promise. You don't have to get too obsessed with building a product. You don't have to get too obsessed with something being your baby. You can literally trade other people's time and labor for money and have it be more transactional than have it be more about you building something. There's an old saying, I forget. I think it was Eben Pagan who said this once on a video that I was watching, and ironically, I got to work with him later on a project. But what he said was is that if you build businesses to keep them, like they're your baby, and you don't want to let go, you keep them, then you're not an entrepreneur. You're an artist. That's what he said. He said you're an artist, and then he said, but if you build a business to sell it, then you're an entrepreneur. That was his sort of delineation right there about the two types of people that start a business. Some build them to sell them, and some build them to hold on more like artists. And they constantly want to tweak them, redesign them, reimagine them. This is different. For me, my cleaning business, it's to build and sell. It's not my passion. I don't think of myself as an artist. I don't care to hold it permanently for any reason. If a great offer came, I'd sell it to somebody. I don't necessarily look to sell it because it brings in cash. But my point is that if you want to build something to hold it and pass it down, then you might as well start building something that could be an asset. But if you just want to make money and you want the monetary freedom and the time freedom of not being at your job or not having your income capped, then just focus on something that can make you money. And maybe that's a step towards something else. Maybe that's just you learning how to become an entrepreneur and how to solve problems, which will lead you to the business that you build that becomes your legacy. Maybe this transition out of your job won't be that business. But what it will do is it will teach you how to be that entrepreneurial problem-solving mind that will equate to success. You know, at the end of the day, when people start a business, they don't know what to do or what not to do. They have an idea of it. But what they actually do well when they succeed is they figure it out on the fly. They see a problem and they attack it. They see a problem, they see an obstacle as an opportunity. People that aren't successful in life, they see obstacles and problems as failure. I think that's the real difference between somebody who has success with their own business and somebody who doesn't. And I think that the person who sees opportunity, they have a trait that other people's don't. And that simple trait is optimism. They're generally optimistic about what they're doing, about the economy, about politics, about everything. And that's also, I think you could probably see the difference between people that stay stuck at their jobs and don't like it, and the only action they take is to complain. But people that are meant to have their own businesses, even if they don't want all the entrepreneurial things that come out of it, I think they're better suited to deal with it and handle it. So if you find yourself at your job and all you're doing is complaining, you're not taking steps to get out, maybe you're not built for it. Maybe you're not built for it. I don't know. And it's funny, when I offer my, if you guys don't know, I mean, I'm sure you do because you're here, I sell a training program on how to start your own house cleaning business. But I don't want to just sell it to anybody. I want to sell it to people that I think have a good chance of succeeding. And although it's a very simple thing, and I've never seen anybody fail because it was too hard or they didn't know what to do. The only reason why any entrepreneur fails at anything ever is that they quit or they couldn't last in the game long enough. I heard Ryan Deiss this morning. I was listening to something. Ryan Deiss is one of those godfathers of e-commerce. Ryan Deiss is a guy, he wrote a couple of best-selling books. and he's just a online sales guru, online marketing guru. He works with Tony Robbins and all these other gurus, but Ryan Deiss is a really well-respected guy in the industry. And he kind of said the same thing. I was hearing him this morning, and he was saying the same thing in terms of people that don't make it. And that was his line, not mine. If you can stay in the game long enough, he said, you will figure it out. That's what Ryan Deiss said. And it resonated with me because from my own experiences and from seeing, over 100 students in real time, and they're just trying to stay alive. They're trying to figure it out. But that's what it's about. So that also then leads me to believe that the whole follow your passion advice, although I will tell you that's probably not good, but at the same token, if you love what you're doing, then it's probably easier to persist. It's easier to show up and go do that thing if you love it. But what I've come to do is love making money and love winning. And so I can become obsessed with that. I don't need to be obsessed with cleaning. I can be obsessed with success and making money. I can be totally obsessed with that. And then it makes me vehicle agnostic. I've talked about this before. House cleaning is just the vehicle I chose. Why did I choose it? Because there's little to no barriers to entry. You don't need any more but $1,000. That's funny, John. You don't need more than $1,000 to start it. You can get to profit fast. It scales easily. I can do more jobs in one day because I'm not doing the physical labor. I can grow my business and my workload doesn't grow with it. I can leverage other people's time, other people's labor. And the pool of people that can handle the fulfillment is massive because cleaning is a basic life skill. There are millions and millions of people out there that are good at cleaning. They're not professional cleaners, but they know how to clean. Basic life skill. So because of all those things, it presented a very easy transition for me. Pretty easy. I'm curious what everybody thinks. If you want to come up on stage and talk with me, you can just send me a DM on Instagram. Come up on stage. Even if it's not about this topic, I welcome you up. I'm happy to have a talk with anybody who wants to come up, ask questions. It could be about the remote cleaning business. It could be about the model. Maybe you're struggling with something. Maybe you're stuck at your job and you want to transition out, but you're afraid or you don't know what to do yet. Or maybe you think that you might have a plan, but you want to get it validated. If that's you, come on up. Send me an Instagram DM at John Margalite, and you will get a code from the mod, and you'll come up. And if we have any guests of the show, or any previous guests of the show, I should say, that want to come up for an update, I invite you for that too. So, I don't see any comments, but I'd really like to answer some questions, have a guest. If we don't get some action here, no problem. We'll wrap it up shortly, and I'll come back tomorrow. I'm on Monday through Friday. I do have a resource available for you too. I put together a short PDF. It's 7 or 8 pages long, and it's got some pictures in it, so it's not text heavy. But what I did is I thought through why most businesses fail before people ever make any money. And I broke that down. Why did I do that? I did it to give you insight. I did it to help you gain clarity. And it's free. If you want to get a copy of it, you can get a copy of it. You can download it. I'll provide a link for that. But if you want to make the transition and you don't know what to do, or you've got something in mind and you want to validate it, you can come up here You can download my free report. It's real simple. I put it together because I wanted to give everybody confidence and clarity. Now, it is a Monday, so we might have some people that are at work and stuck and can't come up. That's fine. But I'm glad that you guys tuned in today. And I'm glad that you were able to hear what I had to say between, or I should say versus, having a business versus having a job, building an asset versus getting a paycheck. Two different things. Two different things. And I'll conclude with this. If you ever do want to build a business that can make you the kind of money that you want to make and afford you time freedom so you can spend it with your family or travel or do whatever you want to do, then inevitably you're going to have to build an asset. You can't just focus on a business or a business model that makes money but doesn't run without you. That's the one thing. That's the one thing. And now that I've proved it myself, I'm a huge believer that service businesses, straight service, especially home service businesses, can make this a reality for you very, very fast. And if you look at the later down the road side of this, there's a whole subset of baby boomers that are on their way out of these service businesses that they've built for decades. And what's going on? More proof. More proof. More proof of what? Venture capital. HVAC, plumbing, cleaning, all these types of straight service businesses that cash flow. They're getting bought up by investors. And why do the investors like these kind of businesses? There's little overhead and high profit margins. And some of them, like cleaning or lawn care or pool is a big one. Pool routes are worth millions of dollars. It's because they're recurring. They keep bringing in revenue. What happens to the pool once you clean it? Within a few days or a week, what happens? It gets dirty again. Same thing with the house, same thing with the car. And I see people like Cody Sanchez talking about buying a laundromat, buying a car wash. Oh, it sounds great, Cody. But that's not the reality for most people. Laundromats and car washes are expensive because everybody knows that they have a cash-on-cash return. So getting your hands on one is probably unlikely. Your ability to start a cleaning service or any type of home service business next week or this week, that's a high probability. All right. I'm going to wrap up the show. We've been live for about 33 minutes and 23 seconds on the dot. Thank you for everybody for showing up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the chat. Even if it's after the show, I'll see them and I'll get back to you. If you want to get the free resource, I will put up a link for everybody. It's short, but it's fascinating. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at noon, every Monday through Friday, every day at noon, I'll be here live. I'll have a new topic every time. I'll prepare a monologue for you like I did today. And we'll keep giving you insight, clarity, and inspiration. See you next time.